Oh, you're sitting on my leg. You're sitting on my leg.
So you're like, hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Venus Friday.
Happy Venus Friday. Happy Venus Friday.
Oh my God. Good morning, Demetrius. Good morning, Sue. Demetrius, maybe please make you a moderator. I think I had already made you a moderator. So that means, let me see, use this. Yeah, you are already a moderator. Demetrius, good morning, Doreen. So much love.
Good morning, Doreen. Good morning.
So Demetrius, if you see there's this one person who's a Jesus lover hater and comes on and gets very nasty. So if you see it, you have the right to remove it because you're a moderator. So thank you so much. Much love. Hello, Doreen. Good morning, everyone. So much love. Michael, but you're sitting on my knee.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, just can we like, I don't know why we usually sit here. So can we like maybe a little bit like this? Is that all right? Or okay. Okay, you go back a little bit. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Trying to get adjusted. Okay, Friday tea time. Friday tea time, everyone. Good morning. Let's see if you can hear us clearly. Is the audio loud and clear, everyone? Can you just give us a little holler? And thank you for those of you who are watching. Welcome. Can you just give us a little hello and letting us know you can hear us? Just a quick little, maybe an emoji of love would be great. Hello, Nancy. Thank you so much.
Hello, Nancy.
So happy Friday. Michael has an orgy bunny cup. This is a, Michael, you might want to say what that is today.
Well, you don't have to use that word.
Okay, well, it is. It's a major love party going on.
It's a happy bunny fest, you know? It's
Show them.
It's a cup that I got from my family at Magdalene. And it's all these little bunnies sharing love. So
there's a one big love bunny party over there. Mine is happy. This is from Ireland. These are all the different wacky woolly sheeps. I love this one when we got this in Ireland. We're drinking organic green tea. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. So much love. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, my goodness. We missed you last week as we were in Miami and didn't get a chance to share our Friday tea time with you. And so it's been 2 weeks and there's so much to go over and share with you. I'm going to let Michael say, because Michael's body aches, as does mine. And I'm wondering how many of you have those achy Ascension symptoms like we've had for about a week now. Anybody feeling what happened from the super moon lunar eclipse and that gateway and all the different body symptoms? Yeah? Hello, hello, hello. So Michael, what's happening? We got a lot to cover today. We're going to start with this and we're going to get to Doreen Virtue's A to Z list. I'm so excited to finally share this with Michael today. So how are you doing, Michael?
Obviously, Honey came to me this morning and she goes, so am I going on tea time by myself, in her nice little way of seeing if I was ready for it, which obviously I smiled and said, maybe yes. And I said, yes, maybe you'll do most of the talking because my body feels sore, waking up with just a night of tossing and turning. And
he was the tumbling weed last night.
And just, you know, when the body becomes dense, physically, mentally, emotionally, it's interesting to embrace it and to fully honor it. And
I told him he's energetically complaint. He's not saying anything. I can feel his energetic complaint. He doesn't believe me.
So good at not saying anything.
He's not saying it, but I feel all of it.
She sees my look and she's like, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" And obviously, there's just lots of what would I say? I guess a feeling of soreness, tiredness, a feeling of density, a feeling of energy that sometimes in the physical realm obviously is an expression of the mental, emotional, of just unease with inside. It's interesting. I feel like, we can go to a very warm area, which is very dense, come to a very cold area, which is dense, and just really be aware of everything that's been moving through. And I feel that coming into this past Monday with lunar, eclipse, blood moon, wolf moon, there was so much super moon, and just so much energy spiraling around it. And I know I did a lot of healings around that. So personally, I'm learning when working with that energy on a personal realm, but also working with others that are going through these transformations, and then working on a very high angelic realm. There's so much happening in between that sometimes the body just needs to stop, rest, and just take it easy. And so I feel the moving into that weekend, there was a lot of intensity. We didn't get much sleep because of Honey's beautiful niece, Lila, and just having the whole family around and all these beautiful members in a small house. We had a fabulous time, but sometimes when sleep is deprived and travels, and then just moving directly into what we see is happening. And I don't think I'm the only one. I feel that there's a lot of people feeling energies. And even today when I woke up, I sat on the biomat, did some meditation. It was interesting because even my meditation was having difficulties just because of just energy in my head that was moving very quick. And then I took a bath, and then I realized how powerful we are in the thick of winter right now. And I find when I was sitting there, I was like, this is really a time for all of us, including myself, as we go inward, to really see in that inward moments of the solstice of what's brought inward. That's when a lot of our stuff is really placed in, because in that darkness, we see what may have been repressed or things that have not been viewed. So I really allowed, as energy was moving through, in frustration of pain in the back, aggravated from lack of sleep, personal things that I'm just going through on my level of just recognizing that it's okay to feel it, to give love to it, to give honor to it, and to embrace it in a very compassionate way, not by judging it, not by personalizing it, not even by trying to label it. I was just taking that time to allow what's coming through, and to thank it, and to allow the gratitude to bring forth in it, in the grace, because I know that too shall pass. And many times, I feel that judgment can come along, and when judgment comes along, it could try to create a story of it, or there's something wrong. You mean your own judgment? Yeah, any judgment, my own judgment, or the story from outside or the story from inside. That there's so much happening that it's so easy to label it and identify. So I noticed that it's just what I got excited for when I was in the bath, because I had some tears coming through with my father, because it'll be 6 months in a couple of days, is I realized when there's so much energy that's obstructed and there's things moving through, at the same time there is also this inner excitement from my higher self of saying, wow, there's something big happening. And when that bigness is coming through, on the other side of it is also a very huge gift in that healing and that empowerment, but most important, in that liberation. And so feeling that, and not trying to really anchor it in a way that this is who I am, this is what I am, and just feel it and honor it, but not get myself wrapped in it. It's been an interesting journey. So I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I may be sleepy, tired, and achy, that I'm still here to join you all and just sit by Honey, who wakes up and, happy Friday, how you doing? Here we go. Already, you ready? Let's go. And I'm kind of like Eeyore, and Winnie the Pooh, and just feeling this sense of slowness, lagginess, and personally, I feel there's frustration or impatience that overcomes me when this happens, because there's also this excitement to move forward. There's a lot of excitement to do things that it's on my own plate of healings and things I'm really motivated to do. But yet when that slowness and sluggishness comes through, all of a sudden it delays it, and that impatience comes through, and then I can feel that ego saying, okay, what's not happening? Where's it wants to analyze it from a very different perspective. So I know a lot of us go through this, and sharing it personally, it's great because Honey gets to hear it, even though she knows it, feels it, and empathically is aware of it in her own way. So obviously I can't hide any of it, which sometimes I just want to go upstairs and sit the biomat and just be, okay, just be, and not share all of it. But obviously
our healing space is up here. Right here we have a loft, so we have our pyramid and our healing room up there, which that's our space where we need our own little cave.
Yeah, it's beautiful because we have a pyramid up there, and we have a biomat crystals, and sometimes we need off days, and I feel these past couple weeks, you know,
a lot's been happening.
Yeah, a lot's been happening. I think that's what we forget. I feel maybe it's because there's been so much in service, and because we give, and what I constantly keep seeing in many is just how much we give and how much we serve and how much is going on, and not placing ourselves first and forgetting, like you said, there's so much happening in between. And we may forget what's happening in between because there are big shifts, there are big energetic energies that we see on a grander scale. So if we could just, you know, take a couple steps back, and ultimately self-love, and, you know, a topic that I really am interested in is just self-honor. Honor thyself and what each person needs, what I need, what you need, what each person needs in their own state to come back to balance, because ultimately it is all right to feel these moments. We want to feel happy, we want to feel excited, we want to feel all this joy because it feels good, but I know it's also powerful to embrace the moments that don't feel so good, the moments that somehow tossing and turning, or trying to figure out how to just get comfortable within the body, within what's moving around, and just to get through sometimes just the winter times that can just be a little dimming based on the weather, which we're always just kind of taking day by day.
It's nice today.
Today's sunny. We got lucky that we moved from cold to warm. So thank you, Honey, for allowing me to be raw and true, because this is Honey's specialty. She loves to be as raw and just pureness in her level of expression, and just to go out and express all of this, because I feel the more raw we can be, the more people can understand that, you know, this ascension process is not always a happy, fun, bunny hopping journey as we see in the cup. There can be moments where it just has to, you know, move through us. And the thing I'm learning most is, as it moves through us, is just to give ourselves as much peace and grace and time to honor ourselves, so that we can move through it and be at peace with it.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
So let me just say hello, Gia. Hello, Dan. Hello, Faith. Let me see. Fair. Let me see. Hello, Christina. Thank you so much, Nancy, Doreen, Demetrius. Thank you so much for visiting us. So I just wanted Michael to really talk about this, because here we are in a sacred divine union, and there are days that we would like identify it, if you want to identify it, or off days. Like I finally slept great last night. I felt so dazzling, like woo, like I finally slept. But you know, it's been several days we haven't slept, and there is a tiredness in the system. So I've been going through a lot of personal things. Michael has been going through personal things, and then here's the space we also share. And last week we were in Miami. I feel like I just got no sleep. It was amazing to be with our family for the first part. My sons were there, being with my little baby niece, and who's like just ball of fire energy, 4 a.m, starting the day. And we just didn't get, it was beautiful. We just didn't get much sleep. And then healing session, what have you, and then getting ready for the super full moon lunar eclipse. And and that particular gateway and all the transmission codes and really what's happening in the body. And on top of it, I had my holy blood. So I was telling Michael, you can't say anything. I even have holy blood on top of this. So
which just to take a pause, holy blood is a holy celebration.
It's a holy celebration. I was telling him I'm so holy. Holy came on the lunar eclipse.
Anyone knows honey, it's no time to take it for a doubt, no matter what's moving through it. It is a celebration, no matter what pain, lack of sleep, or anything that's moving. Is it a holy day?
My holy day, I'm the ultimate holiest when I'm bleeding that much. And it just so happened I had the most intense, heaviest bleeding. And I usually don't get all of the bloating or the pain. But on top of it, I had the pain. So going through this gateway, it was so much body ache. And so it is this window of ascension update. And so what people call it, I have flu symptoms, it's really frequency light update what you're having. So Michael is like, I can feel his sluggish. I'm like, woohoo, frequency update.
She just had her holy blood. Now I'm having my holy blood day. I wish I could just,
cut yourself, baby. Bleed some. It's very, very holy. Give it to the plants, So as a result of it, it's so important. And I wanted to know how you all doing. If you haven't been sleeping much, you're having a lot of the body aches like we are, no problem. It's all part of it. The frequency level updates are quite a bit. And so we just entered this phase within the lunar eclipse that has a lot of the plasma rays. I've been working with these plasma ray. I still don't have the full explanation of them because I'm inside of it, just trying to experience it. And on top of it, the experience of the crystal liquid, the clear crystal liquid frequency that was the code when that was given to me for my own personal code. I'm in this new realm that I have no words for it because I can't explain anything yet, other than I can feel my body's going through its own transformation to start matching the vibration that has come through. So I don't get upset or anything about it because I'm aware of what this is, but I feel like sometimes we get really pulled when we're not sleeping enough and what have you. It naturally has an impact. The other part of it I feel is important to realize is that the physical body feels very sluggish because when we are inside, let's say this lunar super full moon eclipse, what happened was there's a huge update on our system that is brought forth. And within this, and there's a lot of that, this one we work with a lot of the Leo energy as well. So there's a lot of this expansion of our own sun codes, sun solar discs, and what have you. So the physical body is not yet updated completely to our higher dimensional bodies that are aligning. As a result of it, it will feel sluggish because it doesn't feel as vibrant, radiant, because it simply has to clear things out of its field to create room for the new frequency. And what usually that is some of the emotions that do come up. Like we experienced an emotion with Michael before we went that really upset me because it was from where he was, it was brought forth. But also that's all part of what needed to clear out of the system. So we're going to be going through this because these are the denser vibration that don't quite match the frequency that is coming onto the planet to support our ascension. So I want to share it like this because I feel this would make really sense. Michael, do you remember when you had that Hewlett-Packard laptop that was so freaking frustrating? You wanted to use it. You would get, when we came back from Mexico, it was making you crazy.
I had the oldest computer. Sometimes you just don't let go of the things that you have because you have so many pictures, so many memories, and no matter how old it is.
But do you remember I just want to talk about the feeling. Do you remember how frustrated it made you feel?
It made me frustrated because it wasn't working to the sense of what the Apple computer was.
Yeah. So I had my Apple Mike, come here, look, the Mac. Because you have to understand the technology, like our iPhones and let's say the MacBook Air and what have you, they really represent our frequency. So our frequency, just as we're getting, our phones are getting updated, our frequency is being updated. So as being updated, our environment has to get updated. What does that mean? That means if we are, let's say we're light worker, we're of service, our service is shifting again to help match the frequency. And sometimes there's a mismatch. So that way the physical body is like, oh, I'm feeling it. Let me start letting go, because you have to start clearing to be able to update the system to the new updated, literally, software. And we are literally like one of these phones. So it's like we have to go inside, back to, we call it the AT&T store, but we call it the God store. And like, you know, or like the chambers of light get updated, right? Because the light codes are coming onto the planet anyway. So we have to start matching that frequency so that we'll be in harmonized state. We're in synchronized, like the clouds, all together working in harmony. And that's what's happening with all of us. Those are you here on the video chat. We're all synchronizing to the same field of light, of consciousness that's available to all of us. But when the body starts communicating, it's telling you it's out of sync with this new frequency, so you got to update it. And that becomes what you have to let go of. What is it, whether it's in relationships, in work, in service, in clothing, in furniture, in books, in every area, like it has to be reshifted. And I feel like for us that are super sensitive, whether it's crystals that have to be moved, things that have served their purpose, they have to move forward so that you allow room for the new vibration. And it is the art of letting go that helps you connect deeper, and then you're more in a flow stream state. So,
and it's interesting when that moves through what that does create, because show energy. It's interesting what you spoke about with palpitations or energetic imbalances within the body, because a lot of that I'm recognizing, as Hani spoke about, as these vibrations come through, it is this debris that has to leave the body one way or another. So it's very fascinating to see how, in this 3D dimension, it may feel very uncomfortable. It may feel frustrating. It may feel just plain annoying that we have to go through this, but yet in a higher light, this is actually, these things have to come up to create the stagnation, to ultimately clear the blockage that no longer belongs, because the frequency and vibration is that high and activating at a different level, that what is in the body has to be cleared. And that's why it's always interesting to see when those, what we always see is when one falls in a sense of illness, and as we see it as a sense of transformation, because as we would say, the flu or being sick or the body acting out of imbalance is really the universe, you know, providing this opportunity for us to clear all the old and bring in the new. And the valuable thing that I see about it is it really puts us in a mode of slowing down, stepping in a point of rest, and really honoring what has to be moved through, because that process is the energy that helps bring in the newness, that new vibration, new frequency that brings us that empowerment and liberation.
Yeah, and another part of it that's very important. So your water is very, very important part of this. We have cilia with diamond. Michael, if you want to show that, that would be great. The diamond drops. I can't express, and you know you haven't been drinking that in your water. I highly recommend. So I'm going to share this with you. I can't recommend this enough. When we go through these powerful gateways, when we're getting a lot more of this light frequency, by the way, the thru is frequency light update, not level. I kept hearing it. I don't know why I said, but it is a level. So let me share this with you. Like, for example, the crystal energy of diamond drops. This is like a huge medicine. This has cilia in it, which is really important for your cells when you go through this, to be able to help that electricity within your cells, to be able to be a proper conductivity of this frequency. And that is coming onto the planet. I can't stress that enough. To get this, put in your water, drink tons of it. tons of it during this month that will help you tremendously. The other part of it is that during the winter months, which is such a huge blessing, like Michael said, because you're able to, the environment supports you, especially us in the East Coast. We're so blessed because we can allow the seasons of this winter to go inward. So when we go inward, we're able to be in our sort of like enclosed inner cave. The darkness, I'm not referring to our shadow. I'm talking about plain darkness. It is so wonderful because you get to be in your own evaluation. You get to be in your own presence. You get to be your observation, and you get to be a witness. Okay, and you can exercise your choices and your higher conscious choices because you're starting to be extremely responsible as a being of light with your light body, how to manage your energy, how to manage your frequency. And it is at every awakened moment of your consciousness. So as a result, this is giving you the opportunity to be like, okay, well, this is no longer in harmony with my light body. And me as a bringer of light, as a being of light, in my light body, not just the physical body is also a light body because of its 50 trillion cells and the light inside of it. So when we start remembering we are not a physical being, we are a being of light in its concentration in this, our game plan changes, our operating system changes. It is one switch that helps us remember, oh, wow. So with my light, I emanate, radiate in each direction from my center. As a result of it, I'm going to be very conscious, very careful, very responsible with the power that is bestowed upon me. So there's a lot of grace in this place of recognition. And from it, the actions become very mindful and heartful. And gives us the ability, okay, but I've exercised this way, I can't exercise it anymore. And this is going to sort of like tie us into Doreen Virtue coming up, as we're going to quite a bit talk about this. And what I want to share about this, like for example, this weekend was a very beautiful experience because I got to experience a few personal experiences that are part of what I would say probably in the past would have affected me, had an impact. And maybe before I would be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Michael has been a witness to that. Like, oh gosh, I can't believe like this happened, which we go through experiences. But it was so amazing that I didn't go through that this time. And I recognized that I have made some sort of balance agreement now with both my masculine and feminine, where it's now more harmonized, where I didn't go into panic. I didn't go into anything. I was like, okay, just going to get done. I didn't go into worry, anxiety, none of that. I stayed in trust. And I recognized that was part of my masculine that was loved finally in me, that I stayed in my feminine. I was like, it's all going to work out. And I did go through several nights of wondering, as we discussed, like what would be some of the options, but I did not give in at all or get pulled into anxiety, to worry, to none of that. I stayed right here. And I felt that was such a celebration because as I remained in my center, I remained in my light, I remained in my light body, then the whole thing turned around. I didn't work that. And on top of it, I was rewarded. I was like, wow, this is freaking amazing. And that's what I feel. I feel like the universal field of consciousness, our Ascension team, is constantly bringing us opportunities in which we can exercise our light. We can exercise the virtues of our being from the heart and mind of God. And each time that we do, we apply it in action in our beingness, in our livingness, then we get to be completely rewarded in the most wondrous ways we couldn't have even imagined. And that I'm grateful for. And I feel that's what these light codes are important. These gateways are important. Going through the physical thing is important. Like I have these body aches, but my spirit is so flowing in light that, so what? I know it's just gonna. It helped that I slept last night after me. Let's be honest.
When she does not sleep well, this energy is not as vibrant and as fullness. She's vibrant, full majority of the time, but it's wonderful.
To sleep,
It's wonderful to see someone that did not sleep, and then someone that did sleep. And when
last night, fine, but you saw I haven't slept since last Wednesday night.
This is the most energetic I've seen you in the new year. I mean, it's been in general, because there's so much that happens with this galactic being in sleep that I don't know how either of our bodies sleep, because there's so much happening on an astral plane. But
all the head pressure, right? Let me actually share this with you, because I haven't shared this yet. So when we were in Miami, I had so much head pressure right after the eclipse. As Michael did, we both woke up on Tuesday. I'm like, wow, Michael, all this head pressure. He's like, I know. We often have the same symptoms: head pressure, head pressure, head pressure. And so Michael was like, let me go ahead and do some acupuncture on you, and I do some healing, maybe it will help you. I said, Michael, my neck is really hurt and I'm bleeding so heavily. Just help release the shoulder and the neck. So lo and behold, as usually, there's this thing that happens between Michael and I, and I often don't want him to work on me, because I know I'm going to go into a channel, and I don't want to go into channel because I just want to rest. So as he began Tuesday night working on my neck and all of that, and there was an area that was so painful, and I know there are keys and codes here. That's how usually they're released.
And it was very powerful. It was also my intuition, because usually she resists, because she doesn't want to go into channel, and by no means am I. I'm just here to help, and I'm trying to move past my own pressures in my head. And it's funny, because we're both like in a state of just like, ugh. But in that, as you know, as light workers, when we help people, there's this energy that's being blossomed in the midst of the catalyst. And so when I was working on her neck, I just felt the message in my fingers. It's powerful. I closed my eyes,
because his hands was at my atlas joint, and usually that's the area that like clenches up.
And just through many years of massage therapy with my dad as a therapist, it's interesting how when closing the eyes and just feeling where the hands go, and as the hands were moving, I could just feel these little energetic spots, these areas, and immediately I heard, these are keys and codes. So I just lightly suggested it, because in the past, when I first met Honey, she used to be like, you just want to work with me, and you just want to do healing because you love the channels, because, yes, kind of like a little excited puppy, when these channels come through.
All these different beings come through.
She knocks out, she goes into her dimensional frame where she doesn't hear the channel, and I'm video recording, and I'm just working on it like I'm in Star Wars, Star Trek, and just amazed and blessed and grateful of what's coming forward, because it's one part for us, one part for me, one part for the whole collective to share. So that night, putting my hands on the back and just feeling it, the message came through intuitively. There needs to be a release in there. So as I went in there, then all of a sudden I said, Honey, I'm feeling like there needs to be a release. And it's beautiful, because as I'm moving in there, it's this very powerful experience where you just start to watch the alchemy. And the alchemy goes into a way where the body starts to twitch a little. I'm like, okay, something's starting to move, and then the jaw starts to move.
He's talking about mine,
and then
because he said, he's like, start making noise, and this is what happens. So when
I say
sound,
noise,
sound
is that even with all of us, one of the most incredible things is when we place sound and pressure into the area, it helps bring it forth. So that night when she was making sound,
because when he has his hands, when I start making sound, so the sound vibration, when I make sound, have colors, and the colors itself go to the area that's clenched up, and so it starts opening my fields, and then as it starts opening my field, my consciousness begins to sort of like move upward, and it starts to become a size of an orange, I would say, and move about 2.5 feet to my back here. And so my personality consciousness that's speaking to you moves there, and then suddenly there's this opening in my entire field where it's available for a presence in that moment to come in and communicate. And there's a lot of parameters set in place, so not everybody's allowed to, not all consciousness is allowed to communicate through my vessel, but very high level of being is allowed to communicate. So what happened that night was, that night is as my consciousness began to lead, and I'm an incorporated channel. So what that means is that, like, let's say being fully takes over my body, and my physical body becomes that representation during that short, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 20 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, as it speaks through, it is the being. So everything changes, my face changes and all of that.
And the frequency is so beautiful, because I remember that night I came back tired, exhausted belly, and as soon as the channel came through, my belly stopped hurting, my body felt more awake, and it was this activation that was going on that all of a sudden moved through, and it was powerful because the night before, Honey previously placed the channeling with the masters, and just the alignment wasn't present, so that, and we knew with the time, the space, the children, it wasn't aligned because of what we were doing previously, just all the service. So as that was happening, it was powerful to think, well, the channeling of the masters didn't happen, yet a channel came through, which was very
well. Let's tell you what happened.
Which is very interesting. This was the first channel of 2019.
Yeah, that was the first channel. So because I'm channeling the masters next Sunday, so this is what happened. So as my consciousness stepped on the side, suddenly I was aware of the presence. I was aware of a presence of this ginormous white dragon that entered to my field, and I got to then observe and come fully through and introduce itself.
But
so
speak about before, because before it introduced itself, it spoke about this, because a lot of times Honey doesn't remember what's happened.
So Michael can tell you
back. But she's like, this vessel is very pleasurable because she's had the opportunity to fully ride us, because you told me that night that you were actually riding the dragon with angelic wings.
Okay. So what happened? A lot happened. So before the channel came in, I was moved into this place of seeing myself as in one of the incarnation as an angelic being. I don't know what the order was, but I just saw myself very specifically, a galactic angel, literally, and the gears, especially the gears. I said, wow, like it's amazing, because I do that every morning. I enter this gear, and I don't know what these are. The archangels come, they put me in these gears, and so anyway, make a long story short, this dragon, it was incredible. This is the first time that I've gone to a full-blown channel of a dragon consciousness. The white dragon beings, the Abalions came through me. And so they shared a lot. But what I want to share about that, it was so incredible. I experienced everything visually. There was this breath that was coming out, and for us, we interpreted that as fire or flame. But when I was in that body, what I was seeing was it's a mist of ray of light, and it kept clearing my diamond template. And then I found myself, for some of you that know that I mentioned this, I post this quote when I did my own light code transmission activation. There was a code that was given to me, and that helped me move, helped me experience a clear crystal liquid frequency that a clear liquid crystal from the 9th dimension, that is from the future, that showed up, that was explaining with the plasma rate. I still don't quite understand all of this, so I don't quite have the language around it. So anyway, it was quite magnificent, and I feel that itself also brought a lot of excitement to be able to recognize of course, I work with so many dragons. Michael works with dragons. I feel the most astonishing message was the relationship Michael and I with this collective dragon, and also my oldest son with this dragon. I feel that was so touching and overwhelming, and I guess more will unfold out of that.
And what I thought was very powerful, and we love how everything synchronizes, because even this time period we've been so excited about magic and Merlin, and recently we saw the hatching of a white dragon. And the Abayans, what I thought was very powerful is...
By the way, if any of you know about the collective white dragons, or if you had direct experience, they introduce themselves as the Abalions. If you know, I'd love to be able to communicate with you. There are 7th dimensional dragons that work with the archangels and the unicorns, which is going to tie into us going into Doreen Virtue's conversation.
And what I appreciate about them is, as they were communicating through HoniB, it was very powerful to hear how excited they were to come through this channel, because in our 3D, dragons have been reframed as very mythical. In that mythical realm, a lot of people's dragons, what are dragons, yet they work very closely with us. With the Abayans, what was really...
Abalions.
Because it's funny, because he said it with a B, then a V, because the channel was coming through.
Abal is, I know it was a B.
A B.
Not a V.
Because sometimes it sounds like a B. Either or, they spoke about that these are the purest form of all dragons. And they were reminding how we all have different dragons we work with. And what was powerful is, as they were talking about HoniB and me actually now becoming more confident in asking questions, so that
what did you ask? I don't even remember.
Well, I asked because they were talking about how she's like, this channel is becoming more aligned, so that she can work with the crystal,
the clear liquid crystal
dragons that will be coming from the future, that are helping with our consciousness, and through your light language you're going to be updated in that contract. And then I asked...
Oh, that's right. So just let me clarify this. So for those of you that know, I've been facilitating the pure light code transmission activations. And these are just pure light code that help support your light body, moving you from the old timeline or the disharmony timeline to your divine blueprint timeline. And it works with your 12 chakras, clearing all the chakras like Michael had, and then all the pure transmission codes coming in. And it is a massive clearing, and it is permanent, and it's sustained. And anyway, so, and it's all, I get to be my total galactic self, multiple languages. There are at least 24 languages that I speak through this 1 hour session, or if it's the group experience. So what was shared was that as I work more and more with the light codes, I'm able to bring the communication of the regarding the plasma frequency, which I still don't quite yet have, but that's what's helping. That's what the Abalian dragon and the Abalian consciousness we're talking about.
And they spoke about how when they come into form, they shapeshift. And it was amazing. They spoke about how they shapeshift into what they spoke about, ancient souls, specifically Asians, to deliver their message. So it's amazing how dragons, when they do come in, how they take form to deliver the wisdom. So very powerful. I see there was a question, would you believe Kukulkan is a dragon?
Yeah.
It's, I agree
totally.
that there are powerful beings that when they come in to share their message, they're working right within our dimensional process.
Yes.
But because they're coming from such a high state of dimensionality, coming to this third dimension, they need to find something to resonate.
But they're fourth dimensional dragons, fifth dimensional, sixth, seventh. They're multiple dimensional dragons.
And what was interesting is
They talked about the unity flower.
They talked about the unity flower. Yeah,
not the flower of life. Demetrius, maybe you can help us with this. The dragon showed the flower of life that's been faulty or misused or whatever. So it talked about it's very important to connect to the unity flower of Mother Earth, and then it showed me how to tune into the unity flower within my field of consciousness.
Well, actually, within our field, because that was the question that I asked when they said the first question was, how can Honey become more aligned? And it was basically saying the more light language she does, she's going to become automatically aligned in preparation for what's moving forward to you in the clear crystal liquid and frequency to allow the plasma rays to be fully embodied. And then I asked, what advice do you have for me? Because as I said before, when I listen to channels, I want to be so aware and open without interrupting. Now Honey said, okay, we'll ask questions. So I just sit into my heart and say, well, what advice would you have for me? And so obviously they said, because we share the same fields of dragons and we individually have our own fields because of dragons, knowing that I was born in the year of the dragon. And they spoke about the fire dragons, being a fire dragon myself, that they spoke about the unity flower. And I was curious about it because I was also curious if the unity flower is also another term for the flower of life, because the flower of life has different terms. But they said the petals of it. When meditating, looking at the petals and seeing how those can bring in linear to nonlinear and nonlinear to linear, and what energy is moving through them. So it's very powerful how we
have to provide the transcript for the, we'll as soon as we transcribe what was said, we'll share it with you, because there was something, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it moves it from flower of light to the higher consciousness of the unity life. And I know it was the crystalline Christed sort of like of the flower of life that's been manipulated, the unity of it, because it was showing me what's around Earth with that. So maybe there'll be some of insight about that.
Either or, he was very excited to be in both obviously to be coming through, and we were so honored that it came through in the grace of the
and the feeling of it inside me experiencing the dragon inside of me is freaking unbelievably amazing.
It's powerful to see how thankful and graceful, and then our frequencies afterwards being. I mean, I'm usually lit up. Honey's very quiet afterwards because.
But we haven't talked about it till today, because I usually don't want to talk about it when I go into the channel because it's overwhelming for me.
Comes out usually saying, "Did this really happen? Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind?" And here I'm like, "Can we talk about it? This is amazing. Did you feel the energy come through? Oh my gosh, it's a white dragon." He was talking about the purest white dragon of all the dragons. Please connect us within your dreams. So point being is we were very honored and very blessed to know that the white dragons are here to support us, to support the unicorns, to support what there's so much around us already, and to each of us call them in how we feel, if it's through a symbol, if it's through our own sign, however that they come through, they really want us to connect with them.
Yeah, because I feel one of the things, and this is a great segue to Doreen Virtue, which we're so excited to talk about her A to Z and what just came up. So it is so vital for those of you, if you feel called to dragons, there's something that's called to you to dragon, call upon them, because at some point the consciousness of the planet has been turned off to just recognizing them as a mythical creatures like they never experienced. It's just the phantom of imagination. But those of us who connect with them, we experience their visceral realities. And the more we connect with them, the more we are able to bring them to our dimensional field of consciousness in their physical matter, because it is through the act of forgiving. What happened after particularly Lemuria, they decided to move from this sort of like earthly dimension to sort of protect the fields, and they laid the ley lines around Mother Earth, and then they went into another dimensional field just so that they can be the protectors and work, of course, with still the elements of Earth, and work with our angels, and of course the archangels, and also with the galactic family. So they're incredible helpers. They are the ones that help, and I feel this is very important. The white dragon was showing through the unity flower how you materialize the goods from the higher dimensional, let's say, over soul aspect of you onto Earth. So if you have a higher vision and you have something incredible that is of service to Mother Earth, that is service for humanity, you can really ask the group of this collective white dragons to support you. I don't have full terminology around it other than what he said was the unity flower. Ask for the unified fields of the flower, the unity flower, to help support that vision in its creation on here, because they'll do that.
And it was powerful because it also said that with the white dragons, there's also dragons that work with the dark, not dark meaning negative or evil, but the shadow side of it. And
because
so,
they talked about how they're also equally part, as they work with the dark angels, how important are the fallen angels. So there's a beautiful order in which our human consciousness, of course, because of religions, because of these doctrines and the dogmas, doesn't understand. It's just fear-based, doesn't understand the perfect order of that.
And one thing I did do that night is I did put the Abayans in, and it was interesting how they put a biblical reference, and they actually talked about Albus Dumbledore, which is actually a Harry Potter term.
What is it?
Albus Dumbledore. They were talking about, one post was just talking about how one dragon's working with the devil and one working with the light. So when you read or you research it, utilize what you feel and trust to yourself versus allowing the biblical terms to shift you into something that you feel negative, or a place that we're going to go into now that can just shift the energy into a place that may not feel so true. Yeah,
that's a good one. It's a really good one. And I feel like coming back, I feel between that channel and Lyco, so as we came back, your body is adjusting to the frequencies, Michael. Because we haven't talked about it since Tuesday. We have had no conversation about the dragon till just now.
I was excited about it. I mean, the dragons are here to create great help, and it's nice to know that these mythical beings are here. And even in a past channel,
they're not mythical beings.
Well, I meant mythical beings, sorry. In what the Earth says mythical beings, in the reality of them, and they're here to work with.
There they are.
Work with us. And as Diane Cooper said, which is interesting, is how they don't have free will. They work directly with the archangels, so that they are directly in tune with our ascension. So as we may think they're mythical, they're actually real beings that are here to help us.
And I feel like, by the way, Demetrius, thank you. Demetrius, if you have any additional insight regarding the unity, you put something here, the unity flower. And if you know anything about the Abalians, I have, so just if I've worked with the team of the White Dragons, I've never experienced what I experienced personally directly like this, and their name and what exactly they work. This was my first experience. If any of you have heard of Abalians and know about this, please provide information on our comment section. We really would be much grateful for that, because the information sharing is important, especially anything around the unity flower that has to do with the plasma rays, anything to do with this liquid clear crystal that I've just tapped into. I don't even have the words for it, because often I go through it first and then I know I'm inside a new dimensional field of frequency. I still don't have it feels very new, because I can't, like, even when I'm looking into my physical vessel, into my presence vessel frequency, and I'm experiencing this crystal liquid frequency, I can't articulate it yet. It is so it's so out of anything I can put in terminology yet. So I would love some insight. Nothing about any other dragons. I work very closely with that, and also the Christ dragons. There's so many of them. These are the two specific ones that I would be interested in.
And to open that up for each of you to meditate with your own dragons and have that experience, because I really feel that this is coming forward for all of us to utilize as we use angels, as we use elements, directions, all the areas that we can use. It's one more source that we can tap into.
So having said that, a topic that I know so many of you also want to talk about. I'm so excited to hear from you. As I posted this when we were flying back on Wednesday, I just couldn't answer it when the post came out about Doreen Virtue's, A to Z list of everything is the work of the devil. So I really wanted to take some time to talk about this, because she really went specifically after the unicorns. And I feel like, Michael, I want to start it with you. When I showed you that, what was your first response? And what do you want to share? Like, just what's sitting with you?
I guess
because you got a chance to see the list.
I saw the list for the first time, and immediately I felt very frustrated. I felt very upset. And I just felt like any other extreme. Oh,
because it says the A to Z list of New Age practices to avoid and why, because it's all about the work of the devil. So we wanted to talk about this with all of you.
I guess we're all sensitive to different areas. And in the sensitivities, for me, when I hear something that just goes against what I feel is my truth, and then almost demands it in a way that goes completely opposite of everything that this person's done for, it gives you this feeling of like, wow. First, I feel sad for all of those that may have been inspired by her, that may have been invested, and just really, there are many people that are opening and awakening, and they need tools, and they need energy to help lift them. And for me, when I see all that she's done and all that she's helped awaken, and then all of a sudden take this other side in such an extremist way of just blatant attack, it's so interesting what resonated within me of just like, it just felt like this, like it almost like made me feel like I empathize with all the people that when you look up to someone that you're inspired upon, or you hold someone in your heart because maybe that person brought something to you, and you're like, wow, thank you for opening my eyes, and not necessarily putting them on a pedestal, not saying, well, I worship you like a guru, but more or less of, thank you for awakening me to this idea. I'm really thankful. And then to place that person into your heart, place them into your love, and then all of a sudden, as you place them in your heart and love, and then see them take a 180 and then go into complete dark, which almost reminded me of like a terrorist group, like an extremist group of saying, this is going to be the devil. This is going to be the devil. Like every single thing that I find that's in this house, what we believe in, what we practice, what we do, and to blatantly come from a biblical sense, it couldn't have turned me off more, because sometimes when I see the extreme of religions, I really see what they're trying to do.
So what do you, when you started, what do you think is happening?
Well, it's blatant. I mean, to me, it's a blatant level where someone that has worked with such light is now shifting to dark, because I feel blatantly either she's been attacked, or she's been manipulated, or she's been completely devoided into some altered state where she was coming from her light body, her light love, and now I feel because she shifted into the complete dark, I feel like it's a complete, I don't know how to say it, but like an interference of one that has definitely brought so much, and now has shifted into an area that couldn't be as more blatantly almost supporting what I find the dark of trying to create more separation. Like everything from A to Z personally, what made me feel is it felt like everything that helps those that choose to create a practice or something that they want to symbolize, there was more separation because of just the darkness that was revealed. Like if you do this, this is going to be the devil. If you open up a chakra, it's going to be like this. It was taking every form of light, every form of access, and then diminish it by putting the most dense, contracted, and what I just feel is just point of just complete darkness. And so,
okay, so let me ask you a question. So Michael and I haven't had this discussion. I said, Michael, like let's just get on live stream to talk about it, because I feel it's so important what happened with this, so we can really have a discussion. And really, I want to know. I know Gia, you know about this. Any of you, Maria, you know, Doreen, and those of you who are watching, did you see that? And I would love to hear when you saw the attack of unicorns, and what was that? I told Valerie and Megan that I'll be discussing this here today. I'd love to hear just what's going through you, and those of you who had done training with her, because I want to be able to share.
I guess what the biggest thing is when everyone is allowed to have their own belief and everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. Yet I feel when there is a truth in our hearts that allow our ability to ascend and to evolve, and when that truth is then taken and placed into disgrace, disrespect, then to me it's sad to see that being portrayed.
So let me ask you a question. Are you personally having a hard time with this a little bit, because everything that we do is in complete opposition of that? Like what? Yeah. I just want you to speak of that. Like, right. Is it suddenly like, oh my God, is the work I'm doing? Are you questioning, is the work you're doing the work of a devil?
No, I'm not questioning it. Okay. I feel it's kind of
because I feel we have to talk about this here.
I feel what's more important to discuss is it's interesting just to see someone that has created so much for the light. And it's almost comical, like when you see someone that's done so much work for it, and then all of a sudden is completely against it. You're just kind of like, wow, like you don't see that too often. And to me, that's why I look at sadness, because I look at the comments and I look at what people are, and I just imagine, like, some people may look at her as a teacher. Some people may look at her as someone that really inspired her. Someone may look at it, and like anyone else, if there's someone that has created so much. For me, I enjoyed her, but it wasn't like, wow, but I've seen the responses, and I've seen people just be like, whoa. Then I kind of feel sad for those that have really utilized her tools and maybe still utilize those tools. And now what you're seeing is, I'm throwing this out, I'm burning it. This isn't fair. It's like almost like there's just been like this revolution of like, Doreen Virtue's being bewitched, this and that. It's like interesting just to see more, not doubting because one person is doing this. It's almost so easy to see what's going on. For me, it's just to see on a large level of someone that's been working with light to that level, and now shifting it into using the biblical terms to then criticize every single thing that she started.
So I wanted Michael to start this because I really had a lot of interesting things that I wanted to share with this. So about a year and a half ago, when Doreen Virtue first announced that she's fully, she's accepted her Christianity as her faith, and a lot of people were upset. So I made a long post about it. I think it was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. And so justify, I'm coming from a place of a personal relation with Doreen Virtue, a small personal relation.
If that small personal relationship wasn't in fact, would your opinion change? If you didn't meet her, you didn't have that small relationship, do you think your insight would be different?
No, I feel it still would be the same.
Okay, just curious.
So about 6.5 years ago, I had the honor and privilege to, it was more like, let's go back. So about 7 years ago plus, when I published my book with I Can Do It conference with the day I became a superhero on 11/11/11, I had the honor and privilege in meeting many of the Hay House also authors and speakers, and Bruce Lipton, Great Britain, Doreen Virtue, Deborah King, like a whole bunch of them. So that was beautiful that my book was published and I was able to be in that circle, Louise Hay and all of that. And Louise Hay is the one that I just, I really felt that was, that's a whole nother story. So let's let her be where she is. So the year after, but Louise Hay was very, she was completely a different being on stage. And then when I went to thank her, because she played a big role with my book being published, and she was, I can understand also she's tired and what have you, but very flat out rude and disrespectful. And here as I'm a new author, part of the Balboa, part of the company, but oh my God, it was like, I was so grateful because she showed me right in that moment what not to do. And I had my book signing right after. I said, you know what? I hugged every single person. I took a long time. And that was my teacher to see why I had to experience that. Anyway, moving forward. So the year after, when I was at the I Can Do It conference, I'd taken one of my high-end, very, very high-end celebrity friends, who I was also the healer to. So there was a point in my life that I was doing healing work for some very big name celebrities. Anyway, that's a before. Don't you? No. No.
Stay on Doreen.
No. The reason why, because we had backstage passes to go meet all the authors and have time spent with them. So Doreen Virtue is one of them. And I can't express to you, Doreen, when I met Doreen Virtue and Riley Valentine, Doreen, out of all of the ones we met, Doreen Virtue was the most, I get truth bombs sharing with you, one of the most profound vibration of grace and love and loyalty of God, like her presence. And I remember that quick interaction we had, and we exchanged information, and it was so beautiful. And I knew her angelic classes were coming up, so I said, I'll be signing up. He's like, totally. And we stayed in touch, and just a beaming of light, and it did so much for me, I have to say. I'm forever grateful, and also stayed in touch with Riley Valentine. So incredible. And what bonded with Doreen Virtue and I at that time was the love for Christ. So I got a chance to tell her that I had died, and it was more recent that I had met Yeshua on the other side. So her and I bonded just on that, just that frequency of love for beloved Yeshua. But I don't claim Christianity. I don't claim any religion, because that's not for me, and that's not what was shown to me. Anyway, making a long story short, so I took also the classes with her. I met some of the most amazing people together, and it's been profound. I've used it, and I mean, it's been incredible, particularly working directly with Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Gabriel, so many of Archangel Haniel that I met when I had died, and so much. So anyway, so Doreen Virtue on a personal level was a huge factor for me, and helped me to really speak my truth. I'm forever grateful. So I'm coming from this lens. That's what I want to share with you. So when she announced a year and a half or so ago that she's going to be doing this, it was just respect for her, because somewhere in her called to this. But I knew right away, Doreen Virtue, with her gigantic status, and she always studied religion, and there was a pull towards the Christian belief from childhood onward. So I knew finally the dark, she's gotten big enough name, big enough influence, big enough following, so that this was the time to pull her. So she had to be pulled on the side, and literally, and I've seen this several times with a few of very profound beings of light that got pulled into religion, and then they turn completely evil. And I have a follower, not a follower, is one that some of you may have seen. Her name is, she's a Jesus lover hater. We bonded over Yeshua years ago till she went Catholic, and then she's been sending me major hate messages, and because she feels I need to burn in hell because I do what I do. Anyway, so long story short, I knew right away her frequency has been now put in this. She served a purpose for so many of us, having the courage to work with fairies, to work with the even like unicorns, to work with the angels, to work with the like the dolphins and all of this. She really opened the way and she served her purpose. And this, I really feel, is not part of her agreement, to see what it's like when you give your power now to this other side. And that's what she's doing. And she's part of the biggest teacher for us, what not to do. I'm not even upset at all. Does her material, is it important? Yes. It is the material that brought a lot of fame and fortune to her. It is the material that gave her the status. But you have to know, every time you're going public, every time you're getting big, you must know they're the dangling carrots and also the dark that is awaiting for you to pull you to this other direction. And the minute you have any kind of insecurity or you kind of force, you're going to be pulled in. So you have to get yourself checked in. So we still have, like, for example, the daily guidance of angels, which we're going to read from. It still has amazing valid. Nothing, because this was created by light, you see. So it's not going to be tossed out and trashed out. You develop, you know, if there was a skill you develop, you tap into, because Doreen helped. Send her love, send her gratitude, and continue to send love in hope and trust that she will come back to her light. Right now, her energy has to go towards that shadow aspect for whatever reason, whatever her contract is. So maybe in hope she'll come. If you know your service of light and you're working with crystals, you're working with dragons, you're working with unicorns, you're working with astral traveler, you're channeling, you know, your heart knows you're of service. You got nothing to be concerned with. She does not dictate who you are and the validity or confirmation of your service. So it doesn't take at all away to me. To me, if anything, it communicates further how to be so careful of this sacred, especially when you're becoming public, you're growing a lot more followers, how to be very careful with this and stay in the grace of God in the name of religion, in the name of Christianity, in the name of Jesus. From the mental plane, there has been more bloodshed on the world than anywhere else. In the name of religion, in Islam, they have killed thousands. In the name of religion, with even Judaism, so much hate has been taking place, and it continues. In the name of even Buddhism, in the Jainism, in the Hinduism, and all religions, there's been so much bloodshed and hate, yet at the same time, there's also been beauty. It is your choice how you want to use your energy and where you are choosing to direct your energy and give into. I refuse, just because I have met Yeshua the Christ, Jesus the Christ, they will call it, I will never claim Christianity. I will never claim Catholicism, none of that. Because the one thing that was revealed to me when I had died, I was on the other side, beloved Yeshua, the Christ, he attained a Christed state of beingness. And he showed this is available to all of us. And it is not claimed by any religion. It is available to all 7 billion people on Mother Earth, completely free from religion. So that's what I really wish to share, because I can only speak, and I've had over the years many different Christians. You must claim your Christianity. You must claim. I refuse to claim Jack, because that's not my truth. All I know is we are all beings of light. We do not need outside institution, religion to tell us who we are. We are already a sovereign being. When we claim our sovereignty as a being and a bringer of light, of love, and our virtue is to share love, There is no institution, government, systems, or cults that we need to give our power to give us confirmation. I don't need to go to any synagogue, church, mosque, any of that, because the temple of God is this. And that's what's clearing, so that divine can house in perfectly as being a Christ, a Christed being, a crystalline being, the Maitreya that is within all of us, the Magdalene that is coming in all of us. It's available to all of us. We never, ever have to create it. We don't have to freaking develop it. It was already created, granted to us. So why I feel this is important, you can get upset all you want over Doreen Virtue. She is another human being that has chosen to give her power, her vibration to an institution to govern her truth now. And that is exactly where she needs to be. And bless her soul. Thank God for being an example of what not to do. You have a choice to honor what you got to do. Michael and I are going to continue. We're going to speak about dragon experiences. I'm going to continue to channel. I'm going to still work with light codes. I'm going to communicate with the galactics, speak in tongues. And I have to tell you this. This is so important. In order for any religion to be valid, the first thing the religion does is to tell you you're not allowed to question anything. And you have to know, in the past, because the religion is created by the patriarchy, when the religion was created, it was said the woman does not have power. All religions of the world was first brought forth by women. And it was all pagans, and it was all ritualistic, and it was all around the sacred holy blood. The blood of the woman is her most holiest part. When the 9 million women were killed by the Catholics, by the Roman, in order for women not to embrace, they practice their paganism, right? Their work of the land, because they knew how to be in harmony with Mother Earth, and they knew how to communicate through the moon and the star system. Religion, because at that time, men could not bleed, so they had to go sacrifice with blood in order to attain. But they brought the violent energy, whereas we women, we would naturally give our blood. We would go into dream state together. It was a very communion way to be in reverence and respect with our holy sacredness and our holy nature, being connected to the galactic, to the angelic, to the Mother Earth. And as a result of it, because where there's power is fear, so this patriarchy was brought forth, and for men to start wearing dresses like the woman, becoming priests, wearing dresses to start accessing what wasn't there. So there's a whole lot more to this. For years, I've talked about this in my Red Tent Goddess circles. Michael, I don't think has heard this much of it before. No. Yeah. And so I'm past that. You can go to any Red Tent and gain more material knowledge if you need. So point being, the religion became as a way of blood shed, of violence, to gain control, because the true of the heart could not be attained. What message was brought forth by Yeshua was love, but love was so powerful, so they wanted to kill him. It's like, let's love. They're like, oh, it's too dangerous, let's kill the man, you know? And so much lies that was said from after that. Point being with all of this is that now here we are. If you want to, there's also still good in religion. There are many beautiful people who are practicing, but they're not practicing of the light of it, the love of it. They're not controlled, manipulated by what is being said is the work of the devil. So in religion, in order for you to take part in any church, in any mosque, in any, for example, synagogue or any of those temples, you can no longer exercise your right. You're not allowed to ask question. And that is the part. You have to give your will to the will of the religion. That means you no longer have your will. And the minute you give that will, that's when you're controlled, manipulated, and taken literally over, because then everything else becomes the work of the devil. And most importantly, as a woman would be able to go into channel because they're able to connect to the higher consciousness. So in religions, I know this from Catholic and Christianity, the minute it was said only men can speak in tongues. If the woman did, it was exorcism. So they start bringing that forward to start getting the devil out of her. So these are all the behind it. But those of us, we already know this. We're not even going to attain that. So we move forward. We continue with our light. We continue with our love. We send love. We expand the love to Doreen and her followers. We expand the love to the Christian belief, the Catholic belief, the Presbyterian belief, whatever, the Islam belief, the Judaism belief, the Hindu belief, the Buddhist belief, all of them. And we continue with love, because love is our sovereign state of being. We never have to create it. We were already created with it. And once we know that truth, and we know that in which we practice is of love, the consciousness even of devil does not even exist in our frame of being. When we are complete in harmony with love, we recognize there are shadow beings, there are influences, there are entities. Yes, they exist, but they also have a freaking purpose. They're not there to knock you around. They're here to show you what is lack of alignment in you. They're here to share you got freaking holes and tears because of your insecurities, and your lower 3 chakras are out of whack. So they're here to show you what you got to get aligned with. As soon as you bring love to it, you come back into alignment, and you don't have to be worried and get pulled into this level of consciousness. So that's how I feel about it.
Well said.
Yeah. I feel I shared it a lot. So I don't know what is said here, but yeah, totally. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, we're all asked completely, Gia. You are asked to honor what is truth in you. You don't need to prove jack to no one. You know what you stand on. You stand on. And believe me, if you're taking ownership of your divine service, your divine truth, and you're choosing to stand in your light of love, you're becoming public, you're speaking out, you are going to be freaking attacked. But let it be attacked, because that is also there to show how strong is your vibration, your alignment with divine. And the more you can bring love to that, that will also fall away. All I know is there's no force higher and more powerful than the presence of love. And the more you align with love, the more you radiate love, the more you expand love, and the more you live from the beingness of your love. And nothing can touch you, exactly as the way Yeshua had said. You become a crystalline field of divine light, of spark. And from that, you only emanate the love of God, the love of the whole consciousness, the whole universe. And from that, there's only purity. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Should we read?
Let us read. Let us go ahead. So from here, we're going to go ahead and read the message of today is the 25th. Go to the day 25th. Okay. An angelic message for us. So go ahead and close your eyes as Michael is going to read this for you.
Remember.
1 second. I'm charged up.
Just a little.
Bring your hands and feel that love inside of your heart. Only your truth knows. Your truth is always in you and awaits you. That which you seek seeks you. It is not on the outside. As we breathe in that comfort of that love, we breathe out that comfort of that love. That all is always within. And we're just allowing and aligning. And we breathe that. And let us receive the message by Doreen Virtue with her angelic book. for the message of today, the 25th day of this Venus energy of Friday. Michael, tell us.
Remember your magnificence. Your soul is divinely magnificent in all ways. You shine God's light radiantly upon the planet, even when you're aware of this gift that you bring. Your greatness is continuously assured, regardless of what's going on around you. No opinion of you, except one of pure and unconditional love, reflects your eternal truth. You're a beautiful example of God's handiwork, completely perfect and joy to behold. Today, we'd like you to remember your divine perfection and call upon it to support you. See that same holy ideal within everyone you encounter, and you'll find that all of your relationships are elevated to profoundly joyous experiences. The thought for today.
So we're going to repeat after this. Go ahead.
I remember that I am one with God.
I remember that I am one with God.
Eternally in every situation.
Eternally in every situation.
Everywhere I am, God is always by my side.
Everywhere I am, God is always by my side.
Watching over me unconditionally and loving me in all ways.
Watching over me unconditionally and loving me in all ways. So it is. You can go ahead and repeat that. Look how loving that is. Did that seem as the work of the devil to any of you? Right? Did it feel fearful, scary? This would be considered under her list, the A to Z list now, as the work of the devil. So no, it's not Doreen. Her soul is just impacted. Let us now bring the message of the Ascension. Let's see what the Ascension message is right now. Go ahead and close your eyes, everyone. And breathe in this dazzling white light into your heart. And breathe out this dazzling white light into your heart. And let us get the group message of the Ascension. Ooh, and we have a message from Lord Hilarion. Here we go. Number 46 goes to 1, that oneness energy. So it goes, Hilarion is from Saturn and steps down his energy through the Temple of Truth over Crete. He is negotiator for Earth on the Council of Saturn and helps us remain connected to our spiritual journey. As a master of the orange fifth ray of technology, science, truth, and knowledge, he invites you to open your mind so that he can drop seeds for new ideas into your consciousness. He assists those who are ready to become higher channeled and clairvoyants. Your guidance is to sit quietly and ask him to help you be all that you can be. And so here's the affirmation. Close your eyes and repeat after me. I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. By the way, Hilarion is the Lord of the fifth temple of light. His color is actually green and is very, very healing. And he also helps with manifestation of Earth. So I work very closely with him and he's quite incredible. So that's what that is. How you all doing? How you all doing? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of you joining. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're very grateful to join together with our Friday Ascension time, tea time, and shifting our legs and having this opportunity to share. Next week, Friday, unfortunately, we will not be available. I have the light code transmission healing and Michael is at a center facilitating. but we'll be back on the week after. And that would be the 7th of February, 8th of February. It's Michael's birthday is on the 7th, so we'll be back on the 8th, and we get a chance to share together with you. And we're very, very grateful to just the energies of this now. If what we have shared today has resonated with you, has supported you, has lifted you, please be sure to share the video link. As soon as we end the stream, the video link is available. Share it on your pages. Let the energy move forward. Every time what you have received, you share it, it comes back to you tenfolds. When we share here, it comes back to us tenfolds and beyond. The gift of giving is an abundance that you tap into that never runs. As you share, when you have received, you really open all those channels in you. And that's the gift of our higher consciousness, our fifth dimensional being, our light body, the truth where we are. We're loving being, we're caring being. We know the power of giving. That's why this Sunday, we also have our Sacred Sunday spiritual service, which is once a month. And we get to be live also here. We have a guest that shows up where we all share the message of love. There are people that come here. We have opened our home. That means our heart is open. Come, receive, and go give back to your communities. The more we give, the more we're able to fill up this platform of love all around Mother Earth. And we open that in our tutorial field. We recognize there is no limitation. There is no lack. There's only abundance, because love is an abundant energy. And you don't ever run out of it, because you already are it.
And we're thankful for all of you guys around the world in different time zones, just taking this moment to join us today. We're so thankful for all your comments, grateful that you could just really be present, be open, hear all the beautiful wisdom that's coming forth. Thank you for HoniB for always streaming God's grace and all that energy that comes forward, and just allowing us to celebrate this presence, this moment, and this day. So thank you all for being here and just honoring yourselves, honoring us, and honoring the beautiful ascension process, no matter how it can make one tired, or one excited, or one in pain, or one free in their own will, for we're all individually and together in one going through this. So we feel honored in that nature to really celebrate that, and to bring forth that joy and that happiness and that compassion and that love that radiates within us. So we're very grateful, very appreciative, and honor all of you that have taken this time, especially on Friday, a day that, there's a lot of things going on. So we thank you for it.
We're really grateful because it communicates you value higher love. You value the presence that is of service. You value how important it is to be connected in the network of love. So we're sustained by love, not sustained by the faulty illusion of the outside. Truly, you feel the presence of love, and you're able to be nourished and received and gifted from that love, that's why the post I posted, I don't know if you saw it, I was like, I'm so grateful for the amount of heart-centered people on earth. What a gift it is. There's so many of us, like, oh my God, like what a beautiful gift it is. There's so many, and we get to be with each other, interact in this way. So thank you so much for taking the time of being with us. Those of you that made comments specifically, thank you. Those of you that you're watching, we don't know some of you who you are, but we're so grateful you joined in. And thank you for sharing. We're very, very grateful. And we look forward to being with you in 2 weeks. Our apology, these next couple of weeks, it's going to be like that, because then we're also in travel in South America. So we have to honor just this time. Then we'll be back on every week. So with that, let's just do a closing prayer. Okay, so let us do a closing prayer for us. Dear Mother, Father, God, dear Holy Alliance of Light, dear all force of light, dear great creator, dear primary creator, dear eternal force, the eternal light, the eternal love. Thank you so much for existing in us, inside of us, through us, all around us. in each direction in that dazzling ray of light, allowing us to remember the truth that which we are, and allowing us to be aligned with the center of that diamond heart, in the onenessness, in the one consciousness that is present throughout all universes, all multiverses, all dimensional fields of consciousness, all timelines. Thank you so much for this moment, this now, this present, this golden gift that we get to be with each other, align with each other, allowing the datas of light to be shared amongst us through this medium, this platform, allowing us to be open up to receive, to exchange, to share, to nourish, and to just frankly be the full presentation of that which we are, allowing ourselves to emanate the truth, because there's nothing but the truth. And when we radiate our truth, we are a liberated soul. And allow us to feel the transmissions. Just one moment. Turakiae kue Turakiate ae kuae Sealing that within us, our ancient tongue, in gratitude of this now, gratitude to Mother Earth's new grid, the unity flower. Thank you, angels and ancestors and spirit guides and spirit animals, ascended masters, the Elohim, the dragon team, the Magdalene consciousness, the councils, the orders, the sacred orders, the Galactic Federation, the intergalactics, the Astral Command, and all intelligence of light force that is here to support us, guide us, direct us, help us. We're so blessed. We're so grateful. We are so loved. And we are the bringers of light that have been awaiting through our rainbow tribe that is uniting as one. And you're gifted beyond imagination by the blessings of the truth that which we are. Thank you so much. We are loved, we are loved, we are loved. And so it is.
And so it is.
Love you all. Thank you so much. Lots of good coming up. Enjoy your tutu. That's a powerful gateway. And we'll talk more. And thank you for sharing the video in advance. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, Demetrius. Thank you, Maria. Let's see. Thank you, Gia. Let's see who else is on. Thank you, Flamehold. Well, that's Dan. Thank you. Thank you, Fair Bianca. Thank you so much. Michael, am I reading well here without my... thank you, Maria Triano. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ishel. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Nancy. I think we covered everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a beautiful, magnificent day. Speak to you later. Aho namaste en lakesh banuresh. House.